The first 10% and the last 10% tend to be the hardest for ADHDers to get started and to finish projects, tasks, different things. That doesn't mean that you're lazy, that you don't have your shit together, that you don't know how to adult, that whatever story you're making up in your head that is negative self-talk and actually making the spiral even harder to get out of. It's not any of those things. The way that we are taught how to do these types of things to get motivated, to start and to stop, are all from this neurotypical lens in our society, which doesn't set you up for success at all. At the same time, there's ADHDers tend to have a lot of tools. So lack of information is not the problem. You actually have a plethora of information and you've studied and gathered all of these things to be like, okay, now I have all these tools. But the problem with that is there's a gap between the knowing and the doing. And one of the things that I love to do is help bridge that gap. Because again, you're not lazy, you're not broken, you're not like learning how to use the tool is very different than knowing about the tool. And it takes time to practice and implement those things. And there's not a lot of spaces to do that right now. And I wanted to create a space where we could practice these things together, a safe space to practice and implement the tools that you have, or maybe you don't have the right tools and we get you the tools that are actually going to be supportive for you and your brain in a very fun and non-formal environment. And that's why I created your follow through project, because it's a space where you can actually follow through on some of these projects that you've been trying to do, that avoidance doom pile that you've been staring at and that is weighing heavily on you. We want to like lift that and allow it to be released, because now you have relief around like, oh my gosh, look at all these things that I did. Or change your relationship to it and be like, okay, it's not so scary. Maybe there's one or two things on there that I can do during this time. Let's knock them out together. And your follow through project is a 6-week program. So we'll meet once a week. And during that time, it's going to be so fun. It's going to be like ADHD camp for grown-ups. So we're going to have space to talk and chat and connect with other people in the space in the room, creating friendships and camaraderie and community. And then we're going to talk about some tools. We're going to teach you some tools that maybe you know already, maybe you don't know, but then we're going to actually like practice them and implement them in real time. And then there's going to be time to like play and then like group discuss or partner discuss. Because sometimes when we're learning something, we need someone to talk to about it or externally process or write something down. And when we're just scrolling on the internet, we don't like take the time and space to do that. So I'm going to create the container for you to like sit down and write and or chit chat with other people to be like, okay, what is it that I'm getting out of this thing? How am I going to implement it into my world so that I can create a life I'm setting up myself for success instead of setting myself up for failure over and over and over again. And so I'm really excited about this, because in 6 weeks, the number of things that you'll be able to accomplish and like relieve that tension that you have between the knowing and the doing, and how start bridging that gap, the amount of relief and like joy that can come out of that is unparalleled. So if any of this resonates with you, please sign up. I would love to have you in your follow through project.